Alright, it has been pouring. We actually up here in Washington have had flood warnings, but I've had the Civic outside. Definitely, if there's still any leaking problems, definitely we're gonna find out today. The new weather stripping came in, so I'm just gonna put that in, seal everything up, and put back the trunk liners. Alright, so unfortunately, still a little bit of a leak, but new weather stripping should solve the issue. And now let's go ahead and just get rid of this old strip. Should have worn gloves for this. This is disgusting. But now that the weather stripping's out, you can kind of see that it looks like it may have had leakage for a while, just given the amount of rust that's pooling at the bottom here. So all I'll do is then wipe this whole thing down, clean it up, that way the new stripping can have a good seat. So here is the old weather stripping, and you can just see that things were getting underneath it and all behind it, pretty much all the way around. Got the new one here, OEM, of course, and let's get this bad boy put on. So it is basically locked in, but as you can see, that's a tight seal. So this for sure was the issue. I mean, look at it. Clean seal, tight against the metal all the way. Even here you can see seal's doing its job. Alright, fully installed. I really wanted to put the liner back in, but I really got to test it out again just to make sure that the leak issue has been solved. So back in the rain this thing goes. Alright, so after a full day of testing the new weather stripping, let's check it out. Nothing on the sides, nothing over here. So, leak issue should be solved. Alright, now that I got everything pretty much sealed up, time to put the trunk back together. And it's crazy again how good condition these clips are in. Alright, just finished installing this centerpiece. The only thing with this is that it does cover kind of where I need to see if there's a leak, but I can see through it. I can just take the floor off, take this off and take a look. But yeah, trunk's all coming together. Alright, this part I did buy on Amazon, and this is just a rubber trunk tray, which looked really big when I took it out of the packaging, and looks really big. Doesn't even look like it fits. Well, honestly, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit right, at least, but kind of does the job. I mean, the seats don't fold back, so this kind of protects the upper part of the seat. I mean, this will do. I don't know. I might return this, see if I can find a better fit. But trunk is done. Now, believe it or not, there is a light in the trunk. It is an old halogen. I do have interior LEDs still left over, which I think can transfer into here. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna unplug it first. There we go. Thank you, Auxito, again, for sending me a huge pack of these. Here's the LED. And now let's see if we can get a good clean flush fitting on here. Now let's see if this works. Alright. Now the light works, and it does seem brighter. Alright, next thing I want to do while I'm back here is upgrade the third brake light to a flashing third brake light. It does require LEDs, so I did get an LED and a module that I can program to make flash. There is the third brake light housing. I'm gonna just change that. Just twist and pull. And the wifey just came home. And these are Auxito red LED brake lights. So this module, again, does require some splicing, which we'll go ahead and do. The cool thing again about this one is you can control the flash and duration of the flash. So I'm pretty excited to test that out. Okay, so let's get these exposed. Okay, so we got the black and white. Alright, so I did make this wiring a lot more difficult than it needed to be by cutting it off. Don't do that. Alright, everything's wired up. Now I'm just going to tape it. Alright, that took a lot longer than it needed to be, but it is finally wired up. Again, next time, don't cut off the plugs. I don't know what I was thinking. I just need to splice it in. But let's see if this bad boy works. It works! It works! Let's go! What I want to do is speed up the flash and shorten the duration. Alright, I got it dialed in to how I want it. Alright, this thing is sick, and it is easy. Again, I just made it more difficult than it had to be, but I am definitely buying another one of these, putting it on the Pilot for extra safety. I think I'm going to do it for the FL5 too. I don't know. I think it's a little more annoying to do it on the FL5, so I might just leave that one alone. Well, now I'm just going to clean everything up and plug everything back in and call it good on this part. Everything is wrapped up and wired. I went ahead and pretty much just 3M'd it to the roof there, so I can just adjust here as needed. Also cleaned up, doesn't hang down very much. It is a beautiful day out, not raining, pretty dry, pretty warm. Perfect day to finally try and fix this ticking issue. I did order 2 new catalytic converters, essentially both catalytic converters that come with this car. One at the exhaust manifold and the one after that. Also ordered a manifold gasket. The exhaust came in this box, and as you can tell, this thing is tiny. I mean, like, look at my hand. And I'm not a big dude. So I thought maybe only half of this came, but check this out. Look at the smallest manifold you have ever seen. I'm hoping I don't have too many issues with the bolts already on there, because I know it's probably rusted sealed, so hopefully it doesn't give me too many issues. Alright, so finally gonna make more use of this mic. Should be hopefully it's coming through pretty clearly, but should be pretty good as I work on this car, especially as I turn away from the camera. Y'all can hear me better. But now I'm gonna lift the car up. The jacking point on this bad boy is so close to the front as compared to FL5. FL5 is freaking, you gotta shove this thing way down. The cool thing with this, or probably older cars in general, it's easy to jack the cars out. Like, the tow hook is right in dead center. You don't gotta remove anything. There are 3 10mm bolts that remove the heat shield from the tiny manifold. 1, 2, and then 3 behind the O2 sensor. And then we'll take the O2 sensor off. The cool thing with this car is, like, it's still just all 10mm. Okay, that one came off easy. Okay, let's see if I can fit this bad boy in here. Okay, I'm gonna need a smaller wrench. Okay, I Thanks to my Kuya Allen, I do have an even smaller 10mm wrench, ratcheting wrench too, open head. This is exactly what this was built for. Oh my goodness, yeah. All right, look at that. I'm glad I didn't snap that off. Dang. There we go. So that's unplugged. I got an O2 sensor tool, 7/8. There we go. Now we can remove this. So that is what the exhaust manifold looks like. I'm hoping that there is a leak because that would mean that's where that ticking sound is coming from. Hopefully by changing this out, we solve the issue. Let's see if we can do this without removing anything. All right, I'm gonna need a breaker bar for that. All right, here's to not breaking. Check it out, not busted. Praise the Lord. Now we can go back up top and remove the other bolts. So it looks like it is 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 14mm bolts. Alright, all the bolts are removed for the exhaust manifold. However, I took out the actual stud. Don't think it's too much of an issue. I'll just torque that one back down when I reinstall. But it should be good. Alright, got it removed. There is the old gasket. Here's the new gasket. It looks like there may have just been a leak going through the gaskets. I mean, just looking at the manifold itself, apparently these are known to crack. Here's the new one. Believe it or not, these pipes are bigger and smoother going into here. Honestly, we're probably getting a performance upgrade. Okay, so it's basically installed. Got the O2 sensors in, manifolds torqued down. Let's start it up and see if the exhaust manifold was the issue. So right here, I can feel it. Alright, so that didn't fix it. But I'm feeling the back end spark plugs, and the one that had the carbon on it is making a weird noise. That's probably where that sound is coming from. So I'm going to need some new spark plugs. Alright, so it's bothering me all night. But next morning, I'm going to check the spark plug. I'm hoping it fixes the issue. Oh yeah, so you can see it's carbon. Check it out. Well, the end of the spark plug came out, but the spark plug is still in there. So I did get it out finally, and this is what it looks like. The top end is actually still in here. Now I don't know if this was actually supposed to come out, but literally just popped off. Back with a new spark plug in much better shape. just to make sure that the end here also doesn't pop off. There we go. Okay. We are good to go. Let's get this bad boy on. Alright, come on now. This is it. Please let this have at least fix the spark plug issue, and ideally the clicking issue. Alright, so far smooth. Let's go! Let's freaking go! I am so glad that that is fixed. Holy smokes. Honestly, I'm glad it happened this way because now I have learned so much more about this car, how to work on cars. It's definitely going to be helpful in the long run. But man, just looking back at the previous footage, I probably should have known that something was wrong or more wrong with the spark plug after pulling it out, before doing a valve adjustment, before buying new catalytic converters. But I'm so glad it's fixed. Just as a lesson learned, just check the simplest things first and know what you're looking at. Like check fluids, check the spark plugs. I mean, ultimately, for one spark plug was 15 bucks. This was a $15 fix instead of like an almost $400 fix. But either way, glad that's fixed. I feel so much better driving this car. One thing I didn't get on camera is I did apply a Glaco windshield coating. This does need new windshield wipers pretty desperately. I installed those today too, just to complete the whole thing, especially as I drive it and the rain comes. It's just going to be an easier time driving in the rain. I did get the Michelin wipers from Costco just because it was the most cost effective. It was only 10 bucks per wiper instead of like 26 from AutoZone or anywhere else. Last thing that I'm going to do for now is start the transmission fluid flush. To change it, especially on Honda transmissions, you can't do a power flush apparently, so it's only a drain and fill. I got to do it 3 times just to make sure that all the old fluid is out. So I'm going to start today with the first drain and fill. And within the next week or so I should complete it and the transmissions should run smoother. At least I'll know that the fluid is nice and clean that's in there. Honda transmissions, generally, if you don't change them, they do run into like shuddering issues. In this case, this one seems pretty rough. It could be a combination of old transmission or just how this CVT performs, but definitely needs a transmission fluid flush because the fluid, 1, looks black, and 2, smells burnt. So definitely needs to be changed. Looking at the Carfax, doesn't look like it was ever changed, so this is much needed. Now, it does look rusty. I know I'm probably not going to be able to break this open without using this breaker bar. So, let's get it. Nice. Oh, yo. That is gnarly. This thing is burnt. I mean, it's definitely not pink anymore. Yep, I can already smell it. Alright, one thing I did to increase the flow, I just pulled up the dipstick just for a better flow rate. So generally, this fluid, when new and good, has color to it. This, as you can see, does not have color. Yo, this smell is strong. I mean, the end doesn't look too bad. I mean, that's quite a bit. I do have some leftover washers from doing transmission fluid on my wife's cars. More recently, the Pilot. Let's see if I have any left. It looks like I have one more. Perfect. Perfect. And it's the last one. Alright, let's get this bad boy back installed and start refilling. And here it is. Look at it. I mean, I know this container's black. It's not supposed to be black. Now, typically how I dispose of it is, especially with the smell, I use cat litter. In this case, Arm & Hammer. This is what I do with the transmission fluid and rear differential fluid. Or any unwanted fluid, like brake fluid also. Oh, it soaks it all up. Now the only issue with this is that there's quite a bit of fluid, so I may need to dump a little bit, but yep, that's pretty much what I do. Alright, for the transmission fluid I am using Honda Genuine CVT fluid. I'm not, you could probably use different fluid, but in this case I just wanted to go with the OEM spec fluid for this vehicle. Did buy a new CVT transmission filter. It is an external filter that is under the bumper, but I am going to replace it I think after either the second or third fill, just so that it starts fresh, clean. Oh yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but this is the fluid, the color of the fluid and how it should look. It's clear, basically a little pink, and does not smell burnt. Now I do like to pour fluids in from the bottle like this, just so it has a better and smoother flow. Fill procedures include letting it warm up to temp and shifting through the gears. I am so glad that that ticking sound is gone. Praise the Lord, man. Well, now we just wait for it to come to temp. I mean, look at these gauges. Don't mind that. That'll be gone in a little bit. But I mean, this was back in 03, 22 years ago. This isn't bad. Like, it doesn't feel that old. That, for the most part, is like a screen. And so is this right here. It's got an MPG gauge. It's pretty sick. Listen to that. Smooth engine running.